Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is all about my milk stash. I currently only breastfeed because Oliver will not latch to my boob. Weird. So I am just going to talk about my stash and how I got it and what helps me get my stash going. So to begin this off, I'm going to talk about the first steps in beginning a stash. So as soon as I got home, I started pumping. Every time I fed him, I would pump. So I did breastfeed, and after he was done feeding, I would pump. I would use my Medela breast pump and both sides. Make sure you're pumping both sides and get all the milk out you can. And then I would just store it in the fridge until I had enough to put into the freezer. So that is the one tip I can actually give. They tell you to wait a couple weeks so your milk supply can come in, but I totally recommend doing it as soon as you get home because your milk supply should already be in by the time you get home. Between 3 to 4 days, your milk supply should come in. But to build your supply, you want to make sure that you're getting as much milk as possible out of you. So the more you pump, the more you feed, the more milk you will produce. So I totally recommend anybody who is trying to build a stash to pump every single time you feed. Number 2, eating. I'm going to talk about what you should be able to eat. So I just recently went to the doctor's because I thought Ollie wasn't getting enough food, or yeah, so he was eating like once every hour, like 5 ounces each. She told me that I need to up my protein and make sure I drink a lot of dairy and eat a lot of dairy. So those types of things really affect your children. So make sure you're keeping up with yourself. Dairy, protein, veggies, fruits. Make sure you're really eating what you need to eat to keep up with your baby, because what you're eating is giving straight to your baby. I take fenugreek every morning along with my prenatal. I also eat flax seeds, brewer's yeast in my oatmeal, which is really good for breast milk production. And I also drink mother's milk tea every morning. These are all of these things help build your milk supply. So I take that every morning. I eat it every morning. And then if I feel like I need more throughout the day, I'll eat another thing of oatmeal, or you know, I've been eating rice and chicken every day for lunch, so that has been okay. So I've recently gone back to work, and I get anywhere between 5 to 10 ounces every time I pump, and I used to only get like 3 to 4. So I pump every 3 hours now that I'm back at work, and it's much easier because I used to pump every 2 hours to keep up with my supply. But I have a really good supply right now. I get anywhere between 30 to 40 ounces a day, and it's really working out for me because I have a huge stash. I will show you guys my stash after this, but I just wanted to mention that I do keep my bags in 2 to 4 increments, only because it's easier to thaw out. So if I ever needed to thaw out my milk, it wouldn't take as long and he can drink it faster. So that is how I store my milk. I will show you guys my deep freezer and my refrigerator. I do just want to throw out some facts about breast milk if you're new to breastfeeding and this is like your first time mom, stuff like that. So freshly pumped milk, if it's sitting out, it is good anywhere between 4 to 8 hours. And yes, it's a big gap. I'm only saying 4 to 8 hours because 8 is like the very you need to have very good, like, clean supplies, everything sanitary. It could stay out for 8 hours. So after 8 hours you need to dump it. But it can stay good for up to 8 hours as long as everything is sanitized properly. Then you can keep milk in the fridge for 3 to 5 days. Again, the 5 days is if everything is sanitized properly and there's no bacteria or anything in your milk. It could stay good in the freezer, which is attached to your refrigerator, for 3 to 6 months. You don't want to keep it in there any longer because of the constant open and closing. You want to keep it in the back of your freezer. So that can stay good for 3 to 6 months. And then if you have a deep freezer, it can stay good for up to a year. So after you thaw out milk, it takes about 12 hours to thaw out milk. You want to get it into your fridge and let it thaw out. And then you have to use the milk within 24 hours. So if you take it out the night before at 8 p.m., it has to be gone before 8 p.m. the next day. Okay. If you heat up milk that's already in your fridge, like you warm up your milk, it stays good for a good 4 to 6 hours. I heat up his milk knowing that he's going to eat it within an hour or two. I never give him milk that he was already eating off of, because of the bacteria in his mouth gets into the milk and it just turns disgusting. So I never refeed him anything that he already ate and he didn't finish. So all that milk just goes in the trash. I never refill, only because I want to keep everything as sanitary as possible, and I don't want him to get any type of bacteria or, like, you know, anything like that. So I make sure to keep everything clean and sanitized. So yeah, let's just go look at I have a fridge that has milk in it right now. My refrigerator freezer has milk in it, and I have a deep freezer. So let's go look at that stuff right now. Don't mind my girl's fridge. Okay, so I have already made, he drinks 5 ounces per bottle, so he's already got 6 bottles in there. And then this is what I've been pumping throughout the day. So far, this is what I have. And he's also been eating fresh milk throughout the day too. So this is what I've been pumping. All of this is probably going into the fridge or freezer today. So this is my pump stash so far today. Let's close this. And this is how I store my milk in these containers. I have no milk up here, I guess. Oh yeah, I fixed my milk last night. No milk up here. I just lay them flat on this ice cube tray and let them, come on, focus. I let them lay flat and then I store them in this container. To the basement. This is my deep freezer, and this is all the milk. So I have the milk all set up. This is the oldest milk I have. This is the first day I pumped my milk in. So yeah, I have over 100 bags of milk so far. More and counting. Some days I just leave the milk in the fridge, or some weeks I leave the milk in the fridge and just accumulate some milk for a couple days, and then I just store them all at once. You want to do the earliest date while doing that, so I'm not sure if some of that milk from in the fridge is from yesterday, so I'm going to date everything from yesterday. I'm not going to date it as today because the milk is mixed together. So that's how I date them. I will show you guys how I put my milk in to my bags and stuff. So if you want to keep watching, you can see that. Alright, so I just wanted to show you guys how I measure out my milk. I put the date and how many ounces are on there, and then I measure it out with a smaller bottle and put it in. I do want to mention that I accumulate my milk throughout the week, and whatever is left over is what I put away. I usually just put everything into bottles, like his Tommy Tippy bottles, and I rotate the milk. So this is basically like all the milk from yesterday and today. So I just put yesterday's date on there. To freeze, I basically have like a full day and a half worth of milk left. I'll show you how many bags I have when I'm done. I make sure you stir your milk because you want to make sure that all the fatty milk gets all throughout. You don't want all of it at the top. So I'm writing the date, the ounces, measuring out the milk, and then I am placing it in the bag. And then this will go in the freezer. Just dump it into the bag. Make sure I get all the bubbles out, the air, and then I close it up. And that's it. And I'll show you my storage when I'm done. Okay, so I was able to get, So I was able to get 12 bags. That's over 40 ounces of milk. It's like 48 ounces that I'm gonna be putting away. Now over to the freezer. So this is what I had the other day to put away. Probably like last week. I stacked them up here so they lay flat. I'm gonna move these. Trying to do this one-handed is hard. Alright, so I'm gonna move this milk up here and just let them sit up there until that gets full. So that's it up there. The new milk will freeze here, and then I'll rotate, and then this box will make it down to my deep freezer. I also wanted to show you some of the foods that I mentioned. I eat this every morning. The same flavor every morning. It's my favorite. With this in it, I put a half a tablespoon of this in. And then I put half a tablespoon of this in. I got this from Amazon. Got this from Target. And then this I found at my local grocery store. And then this is the tea that I drink every morning. Easy. Yeah, I found this at Target too. Okay, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. Let me know in the comments down below if you would like any other pumping videos and what specifically you would like to know about the pumping. So make sure you subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye guys.